And hello and welcome one and all to the comic multiverse, the last comic multiverse, I should say, of 2018. Didn't mean to scare you, Matt, and didn't mean to scare the audience there.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's probably someone that is very scared at the moment.
Oh, I'm sure. You know what? 127 episodes, Matt. We had a good run. We can just play these in syndication. Let's just stop now. Did any show stay good after 130 episodes? I ask you. I ask you, really.
No, not really.
Mm. I can only think of so many shows that actually made it to 130 episodes.
Yeah.
At that point, we're getting into like Simpsons Gunsmoke territory.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, but yes, everyone, it is our last show of 2018, and oh my, do our cups runneth over with content. On this episode, you're going to be getting not just one, but two epic spoiler casts that I know people have been asking for, Matt. For those who don't know, Matt and I actually used to do a TV podcast called Cape TV over on one of the other comic historian channels. And that show has its own really dedicated fan base. We haven't done it in a bit, but we're going to talk about TV. We're going to talk about the big three-night Elseworlds CW DC crossover.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about Into the Spider-Verse. Matt wasn't sure he was going to be able to see it, but he did, which is nice.
I did see it, and I'm glad I did see it.
Likewise, I had a hell of a time getting there. My shitty small town theater didn't have it, so I had to brave the frozen roads and tundras to go to the next town over to see it. So never say Joel didn't do anything for you. Joel literally risked his life to see Spider-Man. And it was also worth it. It was also worth the almost vehicular death that I could have suffered.
Yep.
Going to the next town over. But yes, everyone, if you haven't seen Elseworlds, if you haven't seen Spider-Verse, be sure to save this episode and come back later, because we're going to be digging right into it. We're going to be spoiling everything. I figure let's start with Elseworld first, because that started earlier in the week, and then we can close out with Spider-Man.
Yeah, sounds good.
So yes, Elseworld, the big, much-touted three-night event on the CW. Not 4 nights, because what is it? Legends didn't get invited this time.
No, they kind of had their own Elseworlds thing happening, though.
They kind of did thematically, which makes me wonder, like, did they write this like it was supposed to be part of the crossover, then pulled it out at the last second? I feel like they might have.
Yeah, like all the things were like a byproduct of what the Monitor and John Deegan were doing, and like it wasn't connected, but it was connected in that way.
Or maybe it just got too funny, where it's like, all right, this is too good. This needs to be its own thing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I guess let's just start with our initial reactions, and then we can dig right on into it from there. I thought it was pretty good, but nowhere near as good as Crisis on Earth X from last year.
I can see why you would say that. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There was some things, and we'll talk about those things that I didn't like or didn't think were worth the hype up that they were giving it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The crossover we got and the crossover they sold are two very different things, because the way they sold it, they're like, hey, you're going to get to see Batwoman. She shows up in one episode.
One scene.
For only a couple scenes. It's like, okay, well, the Monitor is going to be the villain. No, Dr. Destiny was the villain. Dr. Destiny is still cool, and I'm glad we got Dr. Destiny, but you promised me the Monitor.
But even then, like, Dr. Destiny technically wasn't the villain, because then it just became Black Suit Superman.
Then it became Black Suit Superman, so that was another thing. And then they're like, oh, Nora Freeze is going to be in this. She's there for a second because Killer Frost needed someone to fight for a minute.
Yeah. All these things that they kind of sold us on, or we wanted to believe are actually going to be a bit more involved in the crossover, really weren't. But saying that, the crossover was good. It was great.
Yes, it was. It was genuinely pretty damn enjoyable. Obviously, we're working off the conceit here that the Flash and Green Arrow, they got a Freaky Friday situation going on, or is it a Quantum Leap situation? As they joke several times in the episode, they've switched bodies, but only we as the audience are aware of the switch.
I do, and I love Oliver's first reaction to that is like, God damn it, what has Barry done now?
Yeah, he just obviously, everyone jumps to the conclusion, oh, he's clearly screwed with time again. This is clearly his fault. Another on-running joke that I appreciated is that Oliver didn't quite gel with how the Flash ran his show, and vice versa. It's like, oh, you guys are always hugging and always having uplifting speeches and everything. We don't do that where I'm from.
Yeah, and I like that they had to like just to sort of keep up with the thing. They had to play each other's part, and in doing that, they both became, I want to say, better.
Yeah,
like Oliver was allowed to be funny and smile and have a good time and everything, like Oliver Queen kind of should be.
And Barry could buckle down and be a little bit more serious. It's a literal version of they walked a mile in each other's shoes.
Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, they walked a crossover in each other's shoes, even got to wear each other's costumes, which is funny because for Stephen Amell, it's like, oh, this is a little tight, and for Grant Gustin, I'm literally swimming in this thing.
Yeah, I like it. I like that the Flash costume on Stephen Amell, it looks better on Stephen Amell.
Again, you had the conspiracy theory, and I truly believe it after watching this episode, that they made that new costume with this crossover in mind, and that's why the head is the way it is.
Yeah, and I reckon it was meant to be in this crossover only, but then they're like, we'll bring it into the main show, which is why they got the ring and everything.
Yeah, it's good enough for us. But yes, the whole conceit of this episode, or I guess the big the big opposing force is the Monitor is going around as we think destroying universes, but as we find out later, he's actually testing universes for the coming crisis that they have literally been teasing since Flash season 1.
Yeah, there's something big coming, and he's trying to recruit the best heroes he can find from throughout the multiverse into, I guess, his version of like a Justice League.
And he figures the best way to test them under pressure of what a crisis could potentially bring, he gives like a god book. He gives someone the ability to rewrite the universe to a crazy person, Dr. John Deegan, who, of course, if you know your comics, is Dr. Destiny.
Yep, played here by what's the actor's name? I know he's from Justified. He was Dickie in Justified.
He was in Lost too, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the actor, very familiar character actor, very popular guy, turns in a great performance here. I like he's giving a little talk there, a little lecture at a college, and he's like, yeah, we can totally, we can become Superman, and we can totally, push the boundaries, man, all through the power of eugenics. Everyone's like, done. just like in real life when someone starts mentioning eugenics, done.
Yeah, I'm out. Bye.
Look, man, sure, people used it to forgive a lot of really terrible stuff, but you just gotta listen to and they're gone. But yeah, he is suitably creepy. What I was not expecting is that Amazo is kind of the first villain they fight. There's like every episode kind of had its own villain to go with it.
Yeah, I like that Amazo was that, and especially since like for the longest time we knew like stuff like that probably couldn't happen because thanks to like Arrow doing shit where they're like, Amazo's not a robot, it's a boat. And
it's a fucking boat. This felt like them going back and fixing that. They're like, hey, sorry about Amazo boat, everyone.
Yeah, so here's the actual Amazo, and it looks pretty cool as well.
Yeah. Hey, he's got a little elf face. He works exactly like he does in the comics. He can steal everyone's powers.
Yeah, and I like when he steals the power, he gets like their symbol on the chest. He's like, I'm using Supergirl's heat vision or Flash's speed or something.
That's fun, and that also facilitates the other big marching order of this crossover, and that is, hey, let's get Superman in on the action too, and to do that we need a threat that would actually, justify having Superman come to help, and I think Amazo definitely counts.
Definitely.
And Superman has a lot going on. He's hanging out on Kent Farm. He just came back from Argus, and Lois is there.
Yeah, these two are much more focused of the Supergirl episode than even Supergirl is, which is fair because they only get like one episode every couple of years, and it's a big goddamn character and everything, and it was great. It was absolutely great. They used the Smallville theme when they introduced Smallville, which is great.
My God, you just know they were so pleased with themselves when they got to do that, and they're like, "This is gonna blow some people's fucking minds."
Yeah, that was really great. I liked seeing Barry and Oliver interact with Clark. I thought that was great.
That's really good. That is nice too, and that's like, oh, these are your friends, huh?
And it's even better as well because Grant Gustin is a huge Superman fan. So
Right.
he's like kind of like fanboying over, and there's even a line when John Deegan's talking about becoming a super man. He's like, it's just one word. There's no hyphen or anything. I thought
There's
that
no
was pretty
hype.
cool.
Yeah, we're not talking about Spider-Man. I like the nice Chekhov's gun situation where when we first meet Lois, she's talking about hammering stuff and she has a hammer in hand. And what does she do at the end of the episode or
She
at the end of
uses
the
a
final
solar
episode?
hammer.
Uses a solar hammer to help defeat the bad guy. And I'm like, that's nice. That's bringing it full circle. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, episode one is just them kind of, dealing with the body swap and eventually having a big fight with Amazo. It's not till episode two that things really start to heat up because they have to go to Gotham, a city often mentioned in these CW superhero shows, but the first time we've actually got to go to Gotham.
Yeah, and it's not the first time we've heard like Batman or Bruce Wayne mentioned, but this episode kind of like hammers home like what's his deal in the Arrowverse. So we learn that Batman has mysteriously vanished along with Bruce Wayne, of
3
course,
years.
for 3 years, and because of that, the city has basically gone to shit, and there's like it's riots, and all the buildings are like covered in overgrown
Graffiti.
leaves and graffiti and everything. Wayne Tower is just a mess and everything.
It's basically 0 year.
Yeah, basically no man's land or something. Yeah.
There's roving militia gangs that just walk the streets. Rich people are taken around in armored cars, and I'm like, wow, this is a bad city. More like Gotham shitty, am I right? Some people will get that reference, some people won't.
And yeah, this is where we're introduced to Kate Kane, who I guess is she says she's like running Wayne Enterprises or something, or like at least in the
Yeah.
building or something that's going to be turned into a real estate office or something.
Yeah, that they kind of left it open where it's like, wait, did he leave control of his company over to you and you're just doing a bad job, or did he just leave the building over to you and the company's being run by other people?
Yeah, it's very strange, and also like, why is the city going to shit if she's like Batwoman? Does that mean that she's not as good as Batman?
Yeah, that kind of sends a poor message there. Don't worry, Matt. All of these questions will be answered when we get the inevitable Batwoman show. In fact, that is big chunks of episode 2 are just setting up questions to be answered in the Batman show
Will
or
we get the,
Batwoman
will
show.
we get those answers though?
I'm sure. I mean, they got to do something.
They gotta do something.
I mean, they got to do something with it. I'm sure those will be the big questions. Where did Batman go? Who's in control of Wayne Enterprises? Is Alfred still around, or did Alfred go with Batman?
Yeah, none of this is really answered or anything. And
Yeah.
I do like though, however, that like Oliver is like he's kind of jealous that Batman was before him. He's like, no, Batman doesn't exist. He's the urban legend created by the cops. I'm the first vigilante.
I love that. That's really good that he is jealous of Batman. No, it was me. I'm the first vigilante. I created it. Me, me, me. Yeah, okay, Mister Mister Batman Begins for an entire season. But hey, you know what? I'm actually glad you mentioned that too, because it's like, yeah, it's almost like if we have a Batwoman and a Gotham, we don't need you anymore, Arrow, and your show's been on for several seasons. It's almost like you're winding down or something. In fact, this whole three-parter was really kind of about Ollie winding down, and they seek to foreshadow several things that makes me think he might not be around much longer.
Well, we'll get to that when we talk about part three, because there is something I want to talk to you about that and get your opinion on it.
We got to see Arkham, which I absolutely
Yep.
loved that they had the big final fight scene in Arkham. An Arkham that looks great, by the way.
It does. It looks aesthetically pleasing. The one thing I really hated though is that we get like we also get those shots of like all the cells of like Penguin and Harvey Dent and all these, and then
Poison
like
Ivy.
then they seemingly open them. So I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. We're gonna get to see
You
some
don't
of
see
these
any of
villains.
them.
That's the problem. They have this big fight and we don't see any of those villains at all.
Nope.
But
We see,
apparently they all get locked back up.
yeah, we see Mr. Freeze's wife, and we see the Psycho Pirate.
Yeah, and that's all.
Which did you think you would see that in this crossover, that you would get to see Psycho Pirate on television, and by the end, Psycho Pirate does what Psycho Pirate does. He is aware of changes in the universe, and he keeps those memories even when no one else does.
Yeah, I guess that was more set up for the Batwoman. So I imagine he's maybe going to be the villain of season one.
That would be interesting. I could totally see that. I like he's got the golden mask, and I'm like, oh well, that could be anybody. Then he pulls out the baseball bat that has the Psycho Pirate colors on. I'm like, oh holy shit, that's Psycho Pirate.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't seem to know who that was. They're like, well, who's this guy wearing a mask? Is that a Court of Owls member? Because the mask kind
Uh,
of looks like an owl face a little bit.
it looks very owlish. It doesn't actually look like how the Psycho
No.
Pirate's mask should look, but I let it go. Also, Arkham Asylum, again, you mentioned some of the Easter eggs. There's Bane's mask there and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, yeah, but Bane's mask from the Nolan films, not like his luchador mask or anything, which is kind of shitty. But yeah, yeah, that's like the was it like the evidence locker or something where they have all like the Victor Freeze's guns and Scarecrow's fear toxin and all this really cool stuff.
Which that's actually probably my favorite scene in the whole crossover when they accidentally douse themselves with fear toxin and end up fighting their own arch nemesises, but in each other. There's some really cool camera tricks where it keeps switching.
That was really cool, and it was great to also get Tom Cavanaugh back in the Reverse Flash suit,
Hmm.
and also get John Barrowman back as Malcolm Merlin.
I like we've got Tom Cavanaugh back a bunch this season as Reverse Flash. I'm
Mm.
glad they've just finally thrown up their hands and like he was the best one.
Yeah, which is kind of it's kind of weird though, because like as we all know, like he wasn't like that face wasn't the Reverse Flash. It was he was using one of
No,
those face things. So like they couldn't get the actual actor who played Eobard Thawne back in like Legends and
no,
all that back. I guess I don't know.
that's fine. I like Kavanaugh more
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
even if it doesn't make 100% sense, and even if when they were kind of goading each other, they were saying shit that the other person really shouldn't know about the other person, but they do.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool scene with a really cool, action bent to it, and I just, yeah, it was super badass. I loved that one.
Yeah, and this is like one of the two scenes that Batwoman's in before she
It's true.
disappears.
She is in shockingly little, but I did love her office that was filled with Batman references and shout outs like the bust of Shakespeare.
Yeah, I liked all that. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, I imagine that wasn't her office. That was probably Bruce's office.
Bruce's office, but she got a bunch of his shit in there, including the head.
Yeah, and I said this on Twitter. Like could they not get like Ruby Rose for like the whole like crossover? Because they seek to imply that she was going to be joining them like throughout the
Yeah,
whole
they
thing.
did, didn't they?
That's how they made it sound. Especially when you cast someone like Ruby Rose, you think, oh, they're gonna appear quite a fair bit. But yeah, she kind of just stood on rooftops for like 2/3 of her scenes,
Yeah.
and then had a really unearned line with Supergirl where they called themselves world's finest.
Yeah, that felt like a bit of a shoe, and that felt like them being like, look, you're on different universes. We don't ever know when you'll be back together again, so we feel like we need to work this in now.
Yeah, they should have just like, even though it probably wouldn't have made sense, they should have done it with like Superman and Green Arrow or something like, we're the world's finest or something, because they fought together, they helped each other, whereas Batgirl kind of just showed up for one scene and then buggered off somewhere.
They do try and like build a relationship between Kara and between Kate because she goes into the office and tries to get some information out of her and it's a whole thing and oh I know who you are and you know
Mm-hmm.
who I am, but yeah, felt like they should have hung out a little more if they wanted to work in World's Finest. Heck, they didn't even really fight side by side.
No, yeah, they didn't actually even have a fight scene together, I don't think.
No, which is a bit of a wasted opportunity. But
Yeah.
again, if we're getting a Crisis and if we're getting a Batwoman show, don't be shocked if we don't get more crossovers.
Yeah, well, again, it's something I'll talk to you about in the third part about what might be happening with that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's fun. I like Ruby Rose as Batwoman. I'm
Mm.
definitely interested in a Batwoman show if it can keep the production
Mhm.
qualities in this, and they've certainly asked enough interesting questions to where I'm like, okay, well I gotta know now.
Yeah, you've got enough interesting questions to keep you going for like a season.
Yeah. And again, if Green Arrow is, what is it, shutting her down the way it looks to be shutting her down, the vacancy will be open for a quote unquote darker, more serious show, and I think Batwoman would be a perfect fit for that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And again, maybe Batwoman can have back some of the D-list Batman villains that the Arrow show took.
Yeah, ones that actually would make sense.
Hey, they're already pre-established, so they can just show up in Gotham and be like, oh, what a nice vacation in Star City, happy to be home, or Seattle, or wherever the fuck it is now.
Yeah, wasn't that really weird that we kept fighting that green guy?
Yeah, really. Good to be back in Gotham where everything
Yeah.
happens.
Let's talk about, since we talked about how underused Batwoman was. Let's talk about how underused the '90s Flash was.
Yeah, that's another thing. They really sold him. In fact, they even started the episode with him. Earth 90 gets destroyed. We find out that he's actually Barry Allen, the Barry Allen of Earth 90, that he was part of a whole Justice League and everything, and they literally wave him off.
Well, firstly, he is the '90s Flash. That he is that Barry Allen, which I thought was really cool. They brought him back with the proper suit and everything,
Yep.
and yeah, he kind of like shows up, say, "Yeah, Monitor, he's coming," and then like the Monitor like I guess sends him back to his Earth, but he can't get back to this Earth. It's really left unanswered.
Well, I mean, Earth 90 was destroyed, right? That was the opening. They failed the test. He destroyed his Earth, but he
Yeah.
was able to escape somewhere else. So where did he whisk him away to if he destroyed Earth 90 for its
Yeah,
failures?
is that going to be something that's like maybe comes back in the Crisis, or maybe
I
that?
hope. I hope
I wouldn't think they would have built that costume again, just to
they
have
weren't
it
going
for
to
those
reuse
like
it.
couple of scenes, and then yeah, not reuse it. So maybe he comes back in that, or the Flash, maybe.
I would like that very much, and because again, it means getting to see John Wesley Shipp more, and who
Yeah,
doesn't love John Wesley Shipp?
exactly.
It's funny in the whole scene with the tech people where they're like, "Oh, we got to understand what's happening with the red skies," and he comes through in a blue portal to warn them about a bad thing happening. I'm like, "Oh, it's like Justice League, but not shitty."
Yeah, it's like that scene in Batman v Superman, except it makes sense.
Yeah, only it
It's
has a
not just
payoff.
happening out of nowhere.
Yeah, it actually has a payoff. Just one of many kind of self-referential things they do that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, there's so much good shit in this.
But yeah, he kind of gets away, and the monitor just filled with dickery the whole time. Where it's like, all right, I'm sending your '90s Flash away. All right, you figured me out. It looks like you're gonna beat me. Well, guess what? Do over, Mulligan. I'm taking your victory away. I'm taking the book. I'm giving it back to him. Do over. You didn't win.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
giving it back to John Deegan and telling him to think bigger.
Hmm.
And doing that, he does think bigger, and it leads into the third part where we see him create a world where he is Superman. And
Yes.
quite literally, he's the black suited Superman in a very injustice like world.
Very injustice, and in fact it's even more interesting too because it's like, oh, but he's doing this in the Prime universe, and the Prime universe doesn't have a Supergirl or a Superman, so this is all new to them.
Yeah, and what was really cool is that he turns Oliver and Barry back into themselves, but he turns them into the Trigger Twins,
Yes, who are
which is a
two
real,
very
which is
obscure villains.
big pull, big deep pull. This is like a Grant Morrison level pull.
There was technically two Trigger Twins. There was the Wild West versions of the
Hmm.
Trigger Twins back when DC Comics was doing Western comics, and then there was the newer version who like also died and came back during Blackest Night and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's a fun deep pull to be like, all right, we got to make them depowered. What do we do? Oh, we'll turn them into these guys.
Yeah, and I actually like their scene with Superman because they had to play the bad guy, and it's
Yeah.
like we're gonna endanger these children so we can escape Superman because we can't fight him directly. I thought that was really smart, and it's like if you're gonna be the hero you want to be, John, you have to save these people.
It's a very slick scene because it shows that they are smart, like you're saying, and that they're able to be like, all right, what do the villains we fight normally do in this situation?
Yeah, and I like that it also kind of has an effect on Barry as well. Like he's kind of sick that he had to endanger people in order
Hmm.
to sort of escape.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Being even kind of bad disagrees with him on a vast level.
Yeah, but yeah, we get to see like this world that John's created, where he's set up a sort of fortress in Star Labs that's run by John Diggle and
Because they
Alex
got to reuse that
Danvers.
set.
Yeah, oh yeah, got to reuse that set. It just put like Superman symbols on everything.
There you go. Now it's a brand new building.
And I should actually go back and look and see if it's still damaged. Like you know how it has the damage from like
Oh yeah.
I'll have to go back and see that because if it hasn't, they have made a model where it's undamaged, so they could just replace it, but they won't.
I know, right? Oh, I like too, obviously, Kara, she's a prisoner in the pipeline. They finally explained this crossover if there were bathrooms in the pipeline. Yes, yes, there were. They weren't locking people up without bathrooms.
I actually really liked that scene where where was it in part two that
It
happened or part
was
one?
part one when they locked them up.
Yeah, and where since Barry is the Green Arrow, he has to like dislocate his thumb to like reach in, and his thumb's just like hanging off. I thought that was pretty cool.
How do you do this? And how he says, "Oh yeah, KG Beast taught me that one."
Yeah, yeah, and then as well as that, like how Oliver has to learn how to phase through stuff, and he's like so happy he can phase now.
Yeah, there's a nice bit of like, oh, we have to learn each other's skills and powers if we want to survive.
Makes them resourceful, and maybe they don't need that team that keeps hampering them.
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice way to build up the drama. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But yeah, so they have to fight evil Superman, which obviously, if they got to fight an evil Superman, they should recruit the Superman they know and love. But to do that, they got to go to the bad guy bar to find Ramon.
Yeah, yeah. Someone pointed this out to me, and I actually kind of like it. Every alternate Earth that we've seen Cisco Ramon in, he's rich or like powerful.
That's true. Yeah, I never thought of that. You're absolutely right. Wow, he's just phoning it in the Prime universe.
Yeah, he's not living up to his potential. Every other universe, he's a rich, mob boss or like businessman or something.
I mean, that vibe power is so goddamn good. You can see the future. You can get in anywhere. It's your morality that's holding you back. If you didn't have that, you'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, yeah. I like that scene with the bar because we get obviously
Our One Legends cameo.
Yeah, yeah, a One Legends character, Gary, who is the same in this universe as he is in the Legends universe. Only this time he works in a bar.
And what is it? And he loves super villains instead of superheroes.
Yeah, they're his legends.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, in case you didn't know, I'm from the Legends show. I'm from the Legends show. Also, Jimmy Olsen got to be here too.
Yeah. Oh, and how do they make Jimmy Olsen evil? They give him a little shitty mustache.
Little shitty, some ripped jeans, and oh my god, I laughed so hard at this. I'm Superman's worst pal, Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
That's great. That's so great that they. I'm Superman's worst pal, and then Jimmy beats the shit out of them.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
That was funny. That was really good. I enjoyed that. But yeah, so they got to recruit Superman for help on this one, and yeah, so we get a big good Kryptonian versus evil Kryptonian fight in a city where no one dies and nothing gets too wrecked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously budget constraints and everything, but the fight we did get was actually really cool. And I like that one woman when they were like fighting. She's like, "Oh no, it's Bizarro."
That's funny. Again, too, obviously I'm making references to Man of Steel. You can't tell me when evil Superman said, "I want to break your neck." But that was a reference too.
That was his go-to move against Barry, which I don't understand why Barry didn't just phase out of the headlock.
Drama.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Barry often forgets that he has powers. He forgets he can throw lightning. He forgets he can create doubles of himself. He often forgets his amazing powers.
Yeah. Also, the scene where they take Cisco to the Fortress of Solitude to like recruit Superman. I like that. Like Superman thought that because of like the Elseworld shenanigans that Cisco was Kara.
Yeah, that
for like a second, I thought that was pretty funny.
There's a lot of great little jokes. And like, man, the actor who plays Superman is so good.
He's great in both roles, as the evil Superman and the good Superman.
You could tell he was having fun playing evil Superman too, because he got to unwind and make a bunch of acting choices that he probably wouldn't have been allowed to do as regular Superman.
Yeah, he's over the top and grandiose and everything.
And as Clark and as Superman, he's a little corny, but in all the best ways possible. He embodies the Boy Scout mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it's time to fight, you believe that too.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that fight was good. We got to see like Martian Manhunter and all that kind of show up, which was actually nice because Martian Manhunter's been kind of absent. Like the CGI Martian Manhunter has been absent from the Supergirl series for a while now.
Again, see, I don't watch Supergirl, so I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Martian Manhunter's in this, and oh yeah, this is my first time seeing the Brainiac of this universe too.
Yeah, it's quite a sight, isn't it?
It is quite a sight. I'm like, ooh, ooh, I like you're here, but ooh, you look like a rejected Henson project.
That's the thing. I That was really strange that they decided to do that, because on the Supergirl show, I guess like because maybe people might not watch that and they need to make it clear that he is Brainiac. But in the Supergirl show, he uses like an image inducer that's just like the actor without the
Right.
makeup
Well,
on.
he had that at the end, and for a second, I'm
Yeah,
like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, oh, it's Brainiac, but he's got a thing.
yeah, and like he wears that costume with the Legion ring and everything. So I'm like, why didn't they just do that? Why do they have to make him look like that weirdo that he is?
For people like me who don't normally watch Supergirl and need to be reminded that Brainiac is a thing.
I don't know why they didn't just make him green.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, why are you a weird off shade of blue? Because green would look way better.
Yeah, blue with like the blonde hair.
Yeah, if you were green, that would be like half the problems taken away. But yeah, that was surprising. I didn't care though. I was just happy they were here and that they were helping out.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool to see them finally helping out. Bit weird that John was helping out, since his whole arc in Supergirl has been like sort of leaving that life behind and becoming sort of trying to become the private investigator John Jones.
Oh, interesting. Well, hey, you can get the extenuating Elseworld
Yeah, I
circumstances,
suppose so.
extenuating end of the
Yeah,
worldness.
yeah. That was also a really like kind of like good line between him and Superman, where they like sort of put their problems, because they've got problems from when they appeared together in the Supergirl episodes, uh, aside to just work together.
Yeah, I feel like if you watched Supergirl, you would actually have appreciated this crossover way more. It felt like she had more emotional skin in the game because obviously she gets all the stuff with her sister.
Hmm.
Superman gets all the stuff with Lois, and then again with evil Superman. Like even Oliver gets some stuff to do with like trying to make up with Felicity because I guess they're not together on their show now. I don't know. I don't fucking
They are. Well, the thing
watch
is,
Arrow, but yeah,
I I
together.
I've been watching Arrow, and like he's just come out of prison, and like because of that,
Right.
Felicity's been turned hardcore and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and Oliver doesn't like that, and yeah.
Mm. Like honestly, the Flash had the least skin in the game. He really
Yeah,
did for
yeah,
this crossover. He had almost no reason to be there except for just trying to help out and save the multiverse. Heck, they don't even mention his daughter. His
yeah.
daughter
Where
doesn't
was
show up.
she?
Exactly. It's like, hey, you know what would have been really great here? Another speedster.
Yeah, that would have kind of helped out.
You know who could really have helped out here? Another speedster. You know who would have been fun to see actually take what is it, Oliver's side and be like, no, that's not my dad. I know my dad.
Yeah, I guess maybe she was in the future with Eobard Thawne.
I guess because that's what they've been theorizing there too. But yeah, she is hilariously absent. Almost, you know what it might have been too. They might have filmed this even before that.
Maybe, yeah.
They might have filmed this crossover even before they wrote the stuff with the daughter, and maybe that's why Flash has no skin in the game because they're like, well, we're further along writing Arrow and Supergirl. We know what their arcs are going to be. We don't know what his arc is going to be.
Yeah, I could see that.
Could happen. I could be wrong. I could be talking out my ass. I don't know. It just seemed funny that Flash had the least to lose and the least to gain in all of this. But oh, something we got to talk about. The Monitor comes back here, but he's not really the villain anymore. He's just kind of the puppet master, just pushing dominoes and seeing what happens.
Yeah, he kind of like, yeah, he reveals that like obviously he's like testing these heroes, and seeing if they have what it takes to face the crisis that's coming. And yeah, it's like him and Oliver that like get the most time together.
Yeah, yeah, and basically he says, I looked into the book, I saw the future. If Barry and Supergirl
Hmm.
run around the world a la Christopher Reeve Superman to stop the villain and save the day, they're gonna die, and I really want to stop that from happening. And while they're very vague about it, they seek to imply that Oliver traded his life for theirs.
Yeah, the thing with like the running around the Earth, like I'm like, how will that like hurt Barry? Because like they say like, oh, he's going to be running Mach 7 or something, and he's going to disintegrate. I'm like, Barry's run faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
He's gone
Also,
back in time with this. So,
yeah. Also, isn't that his thing? Running
yeah,
fast.
yeah. So I can understand that's like because that's what happened in Crisis of Infinite Earths. He ran so fast that he disintegrated and everything. And But yeah, like you've set up already that like he can run that fast, so you need something a little bit else.
Even Supergirl, they could have put some jargon in there to be like, oh, to fly that fast would expend all the yellow sun radiation she has in her, which means she would be rendered human and disintegrate if she did.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and yeah, when she becomes human, going at that speed, it will just like blow her up or something.
But it's like with the Flash, it's like, but isn't his body like supposed to be able to do this? And shouldn't
Yeah,
he have like a fairly sizable reserve of Speed Force energy to be able to do this? It is what it is. They wanted to pay homage to Christopher Reeves and spinning the world back.
yeah.
Was what they wanted to. And hey, that also leads to another great foreshadowed moment where Lois is like, "Oh, what if I fall? I know you'll catch me." And then she falls in the thing, and Superman catches her.
That was a really cool scene. They actually used like proper like slow mo and everything. It wasn't like footage that was just slowed down. It was like proper slow mo, which was really cool.
Yeah, I like that. It was a very, very fun little scene there. But yeah, Oliver seeks to imply that he may have sacrificed himself to save them, and because we know that pretty much the bulk of this was leading up to having a Crisis on Infinite Earths event next year in the fall sometime. So just in time for fall sweeps.
Yeah, and this is where like my theory comes in. Was like the next, depending on how they time it and everything, the next season of Arrow, or maybe even this current season, will be the last season, and like the finale of Arrow will be Crisis of Infinite Earths, where where Oliver dies.
That would be pretty goddamn great. And the fact is, they basically seem to be pointing to it. They basically seem to be saying, "Hey, Stephen Amell wants to do other things. This show's been going on longer than any of the other CW shows. We only have so much material left. We can only keep this guy's story going for so long."
Yeah, I would like I hope. Well, obviously we don't know anything about Crisis of Infinite Earths yet, but I hope that it's not just like a 3-part event. This needs to be like its own mini series where it's like 5 or 6 episodes, and like just cut back the seasons of like all the shows, so you can have that budget to do it.
It also needs to be everyone. You need to get the Legends involved. Fuck it, you need to get Black Lightning involved too.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. You could get literally everything involved.
Again, if you're gonna say Infinite Earths, it needs to be Infinite Earths. Heck, you got John Wesley Shipp as the 90s Flash. That's a good place to start. Hey, can we get the Smallville Superman back? Well, it just has to be a cameo. Well, that's all it needs to be.
It's funny. I follow the guy who played Lionel Luthor on Twitter, and he's like, he saw the ending and he's like, "Hey guys, I won't cut my hair and I've got that long coat. You know, bring Lionel Luthor back because Lionel Luthor in the final seasons of Smallville was like multiverse hopping and everything."
Again, that dude,
you got it.
He only needs to show up for a scene. We just need one actor from Smallville to be like, "Yep, here we go. The big multiple universes."
Yeah. You could say we kind of got that already because the Smallville Green Arrow was at the start of the episode.
Clearly dead, but yeah, that's one. That's one. Also, they kind of throw a bone to the fans too, to be like, "Yeah, hey, you know, John Diggle in the '90s universe actually was Green Lantern." There you go.
I said this on Twitter, and lots of people thought it was really funny. It's like, what if like Earth 90 Flash is just like really racist and thought that like he's the black guy is obviously Jon Stewart. That'd be pretty cool though. It'd actually give something for that actor to do.
Yeah, who everyone seems to like, and even when I tried to suffer through the first season of Arrow, he was the one guy I liked.
I like though that he's not that he doesn't have that stupid costume he had that one time. You know, that shitty helmet. He doesn't have that anymore. Oh
yeah, it looked like a bad bargain basement Magneto.
Yeah, he doesn't wear that anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Elseworld, it was good. Could have been a little better. I feel that the TV shows have now learned what the comics have learned, and that is, hey, we can have a whole event that exists solely just to hype other events that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, and also at the end of this, like, the end of the third part of the crossover, like, kind of teases a possible Superman show, maybe?
Yeah. Hey, because they're going off to Argus to try and have a kid.
They're going off to Argus, they've got married, and Lois is pregnant. And I think maybe they only did the Lois is pregnant thing is because the actual actress who plays Lois is pregnant.
Oh, is she really? Well, hey, if we get John Kent somehow, I don't care.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if they did that.
It doesn't even have to be a whole show. Five episode miniseries.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Crisis on the Infinite Earths. If they want, they can say, here's a world where there is a John Kent, and we'll just cast some kid actor.
That's fine too. And he shows up and it's like, hello, I'm John Kent from the future.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Do you like my hoodie? Do you like my Superman hoodie? I like it very much, John Kent. I would like to buy it, but for some reason DC Comics won't let me buy it.
They won't sell it.
They won't sell me your damn hoodie.
They don't want billions of dollars.
They're afraid of money, apparently. Also, we're changing your costume now and getting rid. I haven't actually read that book yet this week. I saved that for last. I'm like, you know what? I will let me get through all of this and then I'll read that.
Yeah, people got mad over nothing.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good to know. I mean, people always do. That's the thing. But yeah, do we have any other thoughts on Elseworld? I mean, really, all I can say now is like, okay, bring on Crisis and Infinite Earths.
Yeah, chop chop, hurry up.
Yeah, hurry. Man, I know I say this every crossover, but did you ever think we would be at this point where the CW TV universe has a more complex, layered, better realized version of the DC comic universe than the movies do?
No, I didn't. Especially when you think back and you think of like season 1 of like Arrow and Flash, and like how like compared to like current seasons, they're so droll and boring and like crappy. Whereas like now it's like, we got Flash fighting, Savitar and going through time and all that sort of stuff. And Arrow's kind of sort of good, but yeah, it's kind of right in that line. They're doing the silencer,
but still Arrow.
Yeah, but still Arrow.
But still Arrow, because hey, we need to try and make something for the fans who liked the show for what it was. We just can't make it more like the Flash.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's even better because it's like this is doing better than like those goddamn DC Universe original shows like Titans and stuff. Like it's much better than that, and that's the thing. Like those originals, that's their sole purpose to do theirs, whereas these are like network shows where they have all these other different shows to focus on as well. And what the hell?
How weird is it that the network shows get it better, and that the network shows are literally this close to having a full-on official Justice League? In fact, for Crisis and Infinite Earths, that needs to be the shot. You get everybody back together and go, what are we? We're the Justice League.
Yeah, I seriously think that is what they're building to.
Yep.
They can do that now.
And they can officially say, yep, together we are the Justice League.
Yeah.
And then they get everyone together and they do the big final push against whatever the villain is. What do you think the villain is going to be? I don't think they can use Brainiac.
Anti-Monitor.
Because he's Anti-Monitor makes sense because we just learned who the Monitor was. And it's like, oh, well, who's that? Oh, he's the Anti-Me. He's got all my powers, but he's actually evil.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the Anti-Monitor because all you need to do is get like the Monitor costume and put a robot head on it. That's all you need to do.
It is really all you need. I was going to say, do you think they would use the Anti-Monitor, or do you think he's like earmarked for something else? Probably not. The movies are never going to get to the fucking Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, I think they'll use him. I think maybe Alexander Luthor might play a part in it.
That would be cool. I was also thinking Imperex. I know that was like a throwaway thing from like Legends of Tomorrow season 1 when it was bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, they did mention the Imperex War
as like a throwaway thing. I'm like, you're never gonna fucking do Imperex. Don't say that shitty
never
season
say
1
never.
Legend.
Never say never. Yeah. Now.
I never thought they'd do the goddamn Dominators, but here we are.
Yeah, I really don't know who it could be. It could be like any of them. Could be Time Trapper. Could be literally anything is on the table, I reckon.
Barbatos.
Oh god. Now you kind of need Batman for that.
No, hey, we have a Batwoman now. Just move all the stuff and say Kate did it.
But then you get into the Arrow thing where they're like pulling all these things and giving it to some other character. I don't like that.
Where it's like, just it's like this character has stuff they've done. Let them have their own personality. Don't make them poor man's blank.
Yeah. No, I'm very interested to see what they're going to be doing with that.
Yeah, either way, very excited. It should be super cool.
Yeah, and this time involve the legends, please.
Yes, you gotta get your comedy relief in there, and that's what they can be. I really want to see Mick Rory Heatwave meet Batwoman. Hey, sugar tits, what's up? Glug, 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 drink, drink,
I just
drink.
want to see more Mick Rory. That's why I wanted that show that, like in the Legends this week, they like teased like, oh, he teamed up with the fairy godmother at one point.
Oh yeah, to
That
go
was
rob
such a cool,
banks.
cool show. Yeah, she became like his Captain Cold.
Yeah, it's like, hey, where did Rory go? Oh yeah, the fairy godmother glommed onto him. Now they're partners in crime. I'm like, that's a fucking show. Right there. Rory and the godmother coming this fall to Fox. Man, that was fun too because that was basically like, okay, this might as well be another like spin-off showcase. Like, hey, what could the show potentially be like? It could be like this.
Yeah, all these like weird tropes from like of like, oh, it's like a 70s kind of sexist spy thriller, like Charlie's
Charlie's
Angel, or it's like one of those 80s like
Pop
action
shows.
shows and all that sort of stuff. That was such a fun episode.
It see that's why Legends is great now because they just say fuck it and like let's do a fun
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and they also mentioned the annual crossover. It's like, oh, it's the annual crossover. Ah, hard pass.
And then it becomes self-aware like that where they're like, oh yeah, we got missed calls from Supergirl, Flash, and Green Arrow. Sounds like the annual crossover. Yeah, we're good. We fought Nazis last season and one of us died, so we're good. We'll have fun magic adventures over here, guys. Also, what a weird genre stew Legends of Tomorrow has become too, where it's
Yeah.
magic and science fiction time travel and sometimes space, but it all works and it's all great.
It all works because like they're like, fuck it. They're like, we're
They're
just gonna have fun.
they're self-aware of it. Oh, I like too the actress who played Gideon got to show up here and actually hang out and not just be a talking head.
I like when she shows up every now and then. I'm like, just make her a permanent member of the team.
Just make her a goddamn. She's one of the only ones who's been around since season one, so she might as
Yeah.
well give her a goddamn body to hang out.
Exactly.
Do what they did in Mass Effect and be like, hey, we built you a badass robot body.
Yeah, and then Mick can try and fall in love with her.
Try and fall in love with the robot. There you go. I do not understand this thing called love. I am a robot. Beep boop, beep boop. Also, hey, here's something please explain to, or at least please make reference to it when you do Infinite Crisis. So the Gideon that's on the Wave Rider, and there's a Gideon in the Time Shelter in the Flash that Reverse Flash was using. We've never mentioned the fact that there's two different Gideons. Is that like Siri in the future? Does everyone have a Gideon?
That's what I think. Like it's like an AI, and it's like you can change the AI, but he's got like the stock standard one, which is called Gideon, and he just used that one.
Right.
The Wave Rider just happened to have the same one as well.
Right, because like the one only other time, again in season one, hilariously enough, the same episode where they mention Imperiax, they go on another time ship. The only time we've ever been on another time ship, and there is an AI, but it's not a Gideon. It's got another name, and in fact, they replaced Gideon with like a shitty one too when it was funny. So there are clearly other models.
Yeah, it's very strange. All you need is like something like, oh, the Reverse Flash stole a copy of Gideon or something, or
That's what I wanted, or I'm like, or because again, we don't know at what point in time Reverse Flash came from. Did he steal that Gideon from some point in the far future and bring it back with him? So like again, I'm amazed we're this many seasons deep and they've never tried to square that circle or talk about that.
oh, hey, maybe they're saving it for something.
Hey, Legends of Tomorrow's writers' room. Have your people call my people, and by my people I mean me.
We'll talk about it. We'll crush this once and for all.
Once and for they're the only CW writers' room I actually follow because they're the only ones I actually care what they have to say.
Yeah, and they're a lot of fun as well.
They are. I would really, really love to talk to them at some point, but there's no like superstar like out in front one where I'm like, okay, when did you know the show had to change? When did you save it by saying, okay, it just needs to be a comedy now?
Yeah. I remember not too long ago, I think it was the actor who played Mick actually did like an Instagram post like that. It's like, oh, we realized like after season one, we should just like, say fuck it and just like do what we want and be meta and be fun and all that because we weren't having fun ourselves.
Well, it didn't start right away because like season one is deathly serious. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about Rip Hunter. It's really stupid. Season two, they start wearing more costumes and making more use of like time travel in general. But it's still kind of dumb, and there's still a lot of bad writing in there and a lot of melodrama. It's not really till the end of season two,
Mm-hmm.
beginning of season three, does it start being like, okay, we're a comedy now. We're just going to be funny. And then every season it gets more meta and more comedic.
Yeah, and it wasn't until really like some of the JSA members started sort of showing up, and then we got like
Mm,
Nate on the team and all that sort of stuff, and like the firestorms kind of went away, and it became more and more
yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did. And now there's puppets.
Yeah, seeing puppets.
Now there's again. I would watch the puppet show. I got no problem with that. But yeah, that was Elseworlds, everyone, and it was pretty goddamn cool.
It was cool.
It was cool. Could have been a little better, but again, I won't hold too much against it because I'm actually interested in the Batwoman show, and I'm really goddamn interested in Infinite Crisis.
Definitely.
And you could tell they were stoked about it too because they showed the title card. They're like Infinite Crisis next year.
Yeah, they've got it all planned out.
They were basically DX cross chopping to be like, hey movies, what's that? You got Aquaman coming out, followed by whatever. Hey, we're doing Infinite Crisis on TV.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Get on our level. Get on the level of CW television, you multi-million-dollar film franchise. Why can't you be as good as us? Again, I'm just sure there must be some like Warner Brothers film executives who just like hit their head off the wall. Why do they make it look so easy?
You know what it is? I think it's like a film executive's like signed off on it, and it's like, yeah, we no one cares, gives a shit about any of this sort of shit, and then it's like everyone watches it and just like fucking loves it, and he's like, God damn it, again.
Yeah, like someone who's completely dismissive of the television arm. Yeah, sure, do Infinite. Oh yeah, have your monitors and everything. Oh yeah, have a Superman on TV. We don't care. The movies are where it's at. That's where the money is. That's where people are gonna be. We lost our Batman. Oh, we lost our Superman too. Oh, our $300 million movie underperformed. Fuck.
Oh, everything is hinging on Aquaman. What?
Yeah. Oh my God. What kind of world are we in where everything hinges on Aquaman? Which Matt has seen yet and I haven't. I'll be trying to make a point to see it over the holidays. So again, if we don't do it right when we come back, don't be shocked, but we will after the New Year's. I think I want to do a special commentary, which again, I got to actually send the letter about that special commentary. I haven't done it yet. This has been like 2 years in the making. But I keep forgetting. I'm busy. But yeah, I guess from Elseworlds, we can finally transition on over into the other big thing we saw this week, and the other thing I know people are absolutely stoked excited about, and that is Into the Spider-Verse, the brand new animated movie from Sony.
Yeah. How do we talk about this?
It's hard, isn't it?
Spoilers, because it's
Yes.
Is it by the time everyone would have seen, or most people would have seen it by the time this releases, right?
This is going up Wednesday, so yes, they've had all weekend and a few other days to catch matinees.
Okay, yeah, but I guess spoilers anyway. But yeah, it's a fucking good film.
It is, and it's beautiful. Like just from a general animation point of view, like it's the best animated movie I've seen all year. Like just full stop, no doubt about it. No, nothing touched this one.
No, nothing. It's
so.
It's
like so artistic.
Oh God, yeah. That's what I was just about to say. It's so artistic. It's probably the best Spider-Man film since like the first Raimi film.
Yeah, I mean, like I know a lot of people are saying it's better than Homecoming. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say it's better than Homecoming yet, but it might be better than Homecoming. In a lot of places, it's better than Homecoming.
Yeah.
In fact, it does some things that I never even thought it would do. It's like I'm not going to call it 100% faithful retelling of Miles Morales' origin, but it boils it down to its most essential, best parts, and then it remixes and invents new stuff that's so good I wish the comics did it.
Yeah, it thinks about things that like the comics haven't thought about in Miles's kind of long history and his story that's been told so far. But yeah, it's things that like you would think like, oh, why haven't the comics thought about that?
There's a moment very early on in the movie where I slap my head and go, that's so fucking smart. Why hasn't anyone in the comics done this? It's Miles on his way to school, the Vision Academy, because he won a lottery, like in that movie Waiting for Superman, which they mention in this movie as well, that he won a lottery to go to a better school in a nicer part of town. He passes his old school and his old friends, who he doesn't get to see anymore because he's going to the hoity-toity rich school. And I'm like, that's so clever. Why has no one in the comics talked about Miles's old friends? He would had to have had old friends.
Yeah. Like we get to see them briefly, and I don't think we see them at all again after that.
We don't.
Yeah, we get to see like Miles had a life. Miles was popular.
Yeah, and then it also adds to this feeling that, he feels like a sellout. He feels like an Uncle Tom because in trying to better himself and chase a better education, he's had to leave his neighborhood. And I'm like, again, why the fuck have the comics not touched on this yet? That's so much great potential for story, that he feels like a fake and feels like a sellout and he feels wrong, so that when he takes up the Spider-Man mantle when his world's Peter Parker dies, it amplifies those feelings of feeling like a fake and feeling like a sellout.
Yeah, feeling like a fraud and everything. And yeah, that's like a big part of the movie, like sort of him overcoming that. And again, they sort of emphasize it throughout the movie, getting back up.
Yes, getting back is a huge chunk of it. The other big on-running theme of it is tied very closely to, Stan Lee's original conceptual stuff for Spider-Man, and that is he wears a full mask and a full bodysuit because anybody can be Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man isn't just one person, it's everyone.
Everyone can be Spider-Man. Everyone sees themselves in Spider-Man. In fact, they basically restage, when that world's Peter Parker dies, the funeral stuff and Aunt May and Mary Jane talking to the public and everyone wearing the mask and everything. It takes the best stuff from the original Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales run, and it remixes this into another movie. So we basically get a full origin in the first half of the movie before we even get any of the multiversal Spider-Man stuff. I was genuinely shocked how good they told his origin before they even got to like the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, like you would think that this movie is going to be like overstuffed, because obviously we have to introduce the world to like Miles Morales, who might not know, like normal general people might not know that he's actually a real comic character. You have to
that was my word.
You have to introduce him, but then the movie is also based around all the Spider-Verse stuff, so then you got to explain the Spider-Verse stuff and who all these other Spider people are, and it works. It all works.
In fact, one of the best running gags in the movie is explaining who the other Spider-Man are. It's like, okay, and now we flip through an actual comic page. In some cases,
I love that like, with the comics, and it had like the actual writers' names who wrote that particular comic or something in there. That was cool.
That was fucking Jason Latour, who's obviously one of the driving forces between Spider-Gwen. He said, people talked constant shit about me in my Spider-Gwen run. Well, now my name is on a comic in a movie. So there, you can file all your complaints under D for D's nuts.
But yeah, let's talk about like the Spider-Verse stuff, because that's like the big plot of the movie, where we have Kingpin, who looks amazing as well. I love the design of Kingpin. A literal like brick shithouse of a man.
Voiced wonderfully by Liev Schreiber, who I've been carrying a torch for forever. He's an excellent Kingpin.
Oh my god, I didn't realize how, outside of like the main Spider people, how stacked the cast was for this film. We have like Chris Pine voicing Miles's Spider-Man. Oscar Isaac is in the film. All these like Catherine Hahn as the Doc Ock and all that. Great fucking cast of this film.
Haley Steinfeld becoming my celebrity crush once again. Remember, she was the girl who was really awesome in True Grit, then fell off the fucking face of the earth before coming back and doing shitty pop music, but is now rebuilding her acting career, and she's Gwen in this.
Yeah, she's got 2 good movies out this year, apparently Bumblebee and this.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about Bumblebee too, and they're like, yeah, friggin', Haley Steinfeld's back, everyone. She's done with that shitty pop star phase.
Yeah, but anyway, the story is like, Wilson Fisk is like funding this Alchemex experiment to tap into other universes, and he's doing that because he wants to get back his wife Vanessa and their son Richard.
Yes, and I called that right off. I'm like, well, why the fuck is the Kingpin interested in other dimensions? Is he trying to rob other Earths? And I'm like, oh no, his family's dead, isn't it? He killed them inadvertently, didn't he? Yep. Okay,
Yep.
that's a good ass motivation and a very Kingpin motivation too.
He killed them inadvertently, blames Spider-Man for their deaths.
And then history repeats itself again, where it's like, dude, the problem is you. But no, Kingpin can never admit the problem is him, and that's what makes him such a fascinating, tragic character.
Yeah, and we get a great cast of like villains surrounding him. We've got
Tombstone.
Aaron Davis as the Prowler, who's actually voiced by Mahershala Ali, the guy who played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
That. God, he's good in this. And also, the design on that Prowler is amazing. That's better than anything in the comics. He's basically got lightsabers on his hands and feet. I'm like, why is comic Prowler not this cool?
And he's scary.
Very.
Very scary. I really liked his design in this. We get Doc Ock, the female version of Doc Ock.
The Lady Doc Ock, which is a reference to alternate universes, but also to the 90s, like Clone Saga era, where there was a Lady Doc Ock.
Yeah, she's really awesome in this. We got a Scorpion who's quite literally like half a Scorpion. Like
he's Hispanic too, which is a nice reference to the latter day Ultimate Spider-Man that Miles fought, who was a cartel enforcer.
Yeah, we got Tombstone obviously as Kingpin's enforcer.
Also guy with guns, because obviously Spider-Man Noir uses guns, so he needs a villain who will also fight with guns, so it's fair later in the movie.
Who else did we get? We got Green Goblin.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah, who's the ultimate Green Goblin, who's voiced by one of the guys from Lonely Island.
Really? Holy shit, I did not catch that, but yeah, wow, holy stacked cast.
Yeah, and a great cast of villains, and then obviously we got the Spider People.
Yeah, they very effortlessly built that team of villains, and I'm like, why is there so many villains? Oh, because we have so many heroes. Everyone needs a dance partner for the end of the movie to fight with.
Yep, and they sure do fight.
Yeah, we got the Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nick Cage, who is hamming it up in all the best ways.
Oh god, he's doing like his best like 1940s impression. Box those Nazis, see?
I gotta box them. All right, now sometimes I light matches so I can burn down to my fingertips just so I can feel something. God damn, he's good. We got, what is it? John Mulaney, the hilarious stand-up John Mulaney as the cartoony Spider-Ham, who's basically the Rocket Raccoon of this Spider-Man Avengers team.
I loved him, and I loved that he played by cartoon rules as well. He's constantly like pulling out like hammers and magnets and all that sort of stuff.
And poles.
Yeah, I love that. We obviously got Gwen Stacy, who's from a different Earth as well. And
Penny Parker.
Yeah, Penny Parker, the Evangelion Spider-Girl.
the anime Spider-Girl, which I like this because this movie actually gets around a big problem I had with Web Warriors as a series, and that is they picked their spider people very well as to make sure when the big fight happened, everyone wasn't just doing the same thing over and over again. You got guy with guns, girl with robot, cartoon pig with cartoon powers, Miles who can turn invisible and shock people, and I'm like, okay, you've actually found enough variety in your Spider-Man.
Yeah, and to top it off, we obviously got Spider-Man from a different universe.
It's old and broken down and shitty.
Yeah, he's got a gut and everything. And I like the Spider-Man that we first saw in Miles' universe. When he pulled the mask off and he's blonde, I'm thinking, oh, is this like that universe where like Flash Thompson became Spider-Man?
He's called Peter, and again, it's a universe like the Ultimate Universe. It's a couple lines removed in the on the Rick and Morty scale, where it's similar but not all the way.
Yeah, it's the Ultimate Universe, but not.
It's Ultimate 2.0 is what it is. But what's that thing again? Rick and Morty makes this joke about how it's off the coaxial curve of universes, that if you go in this direction, they go from more similar to less similar. It's real science broken down to cartoon comedy.
Yeah. yeah, well, the whole cast is great, and I really like this older Spider-Man who we find who's been Spider-Man for like 20 odd years, and he just keeps fighting, and he's lazy now, and he's broken up with MJ and
He's
everything.
buried Aunt May.
Yep, yep. And Aunt May in this film is really great as well.
She is. She's basically the Alfred of this, which I thought is amazing, and I thought it was so adorable and so heartwarming that all these lost spider people in New York, in other universes that they don't understand, where do they go first for help? They go to Aunt May's.
Go to Aunt May, who has a bat cave in the garden shed.
Who has a friggin' spider bat complete with costumes under glass, which are themselves about a dozen references to costumes.
Oh yeah, all those are really great.
All these are from issues. All of these are worth a Google. And man, talk about another moment that is so goddamn good in this movie and so good in this origin story for Miles. I wish they stole it when he finally figures out, yes, I want to be Spider-Man. I'm ready to take that leap of faith. Instead of having Nick Fury give him a costume, which was his origin, he spray paints an old Spider-Man suit and literally remixes it and turns it into his own.
Yeah, and they actually build on that as well. It's like, oh, he is like an artist. He does this sort of stuff, so he would do that.
It's a new flair that they gave Miles in this movie that he doesn't have in the comics. Because I feel writers in the comics are never sure when writing Miles. They're like, well, is he a boy genius? Is he like smart like Peter was smart at his age? Or is he more like blue collar and more everyman? Here I like it. They're like, no, he's smart, but not like technical smart with like science and numbers and everything. He's artistic smart. So like he's smart from the other side of it. And yeah, like turning him into a graffiti artist was a really inspired move ultimately, and it leads to a really powerful scene where he finally takes the dive in the new costume, and they play that song Hello Danger, which I'm not gonna lie, I've been banging that song a bunch recently after seeing the movie.
that was a really great scene, seeing him swing through the city for like the first time on his own and everything. I thought that was really cool.
It's really strong, where I'm like, I was like sitting in the theater, I'm like, god damn, this is fucking sweet.
And it's made even better by just like how, like, on a technical level, the movie is like the animation, like the style they did it in and everything. It fits so well.
Not just one style, multiple styles, because the main universe is like this kind of like 3D, like Pixar-ish render of like what comics look like. And then they put on top that like this almost Andy Warhol-esque pop punk rock kind of new wave art on top of it, because like panels show up and then like characters read comics and they look like they did back then.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite detail of it, was like when they would do like a close-up of the face and it would go into that sort of like two-tony sort of thing that the comics have, like all the like little dots of the two-tone. I'm like, oh, that's such a cool detail. And it was even better because each of the spider people was done in a different animation style. So like obviously Spider-Ham is like looking like a hand-drawn comic that's like 2D,
looking like a cartoon from Warner Brothers.
Penny Parker is a bit more anime looking,
obviously,
all that sort of stuff. And obviously you got like Spider-Man Noir, who's just completely black and white,
monochromatic, moves around like a shadow in an ink blot. Even he moves differently than everyone else. It's a great technical achievement. Like eye-popping. Like I almost didn't believe it. I'm like, how the hell did they do that?
Yeah, I actually know how they did that. Apparently, like what they did was they actually animated it all with CG and drew over it.
Oh, so it's almost like new age rotoscoping.
Something like that, yeah. And like they actually drew to the animations, which again is probably fucking time consuming as is.
I bet.
So like to actually do that and actually have it work out is amazing.
And the fact that a studio signed off on this and paid money for this, again, you gotta hand it to Sony, who in the span of 1 year put out the most empty, soulless Spider-Man related property I've ever seen, and the most full of life, artistic Spider-Man thing I've ever seen ever.
It won't happen because obviously Venom made shitloads of money, but I really want them to be like, fuck this live action shit, we'll just do a animated Spider-Man universe. We'll fold Venom and all that into this, and we'll create our own Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's animated.
I'm A-okay with this. Again, whatever the people did to make this one, get them all back and pay them whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, Sony is they're trying to patent the animation used in this. I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah, and again, come on, Sony, we're just learning to like you again,
yeah,
Sony. Don't be dicks.
Don't do that.
I mean, again, I'm like, is this a broken clock is right twice a day? Is this throw everything at the wall and something will stick? Or is this just if you hit your head against the wall hard enough, eventually you'll break oil? Hey, there was oil behind this wall. I hit it with my head hard enough. But yeah, just so much to like about this, and the soundtrack, which is banging.
Oh, is it ever?
Again, I'm not like so much knowledgeable about that type of music, but again, damn right, when I got home, I bought the soundtrack because I wanted to hear all of that over again.
You haven't seen Aquaman yet, but there is like music in Aquaman that does not fit at all. And it's very similar music to the music that was in this, but here it fits, like completely fits.
Does Aquaman get to hear from his favorite band, the White Stripes, again?
No, he gets to hear from fucking Pitbull this time.
Oh,
yeah,
that seems like a poor fit. When I think Aquaman,
and it happens in a scene where you're like, where the fuck did this come from?
Okay. if you say. Yeah, I mean, too, just, just so much of friggin' Into the Spider-Verse just works. It works on a thematic level. It works on, like, a technical level. It works on an origin story level. And the thing is, this could have been a nightmare. This could have been, another soulless cash grab. We're just doing this because we want to hold on to some aspect of the rights like Venom was. But again, I think it's the Lord and Miller touch where, much like the Lego movie, it's like, hey, you can be just a project with corporate synergy and be like, yeah, we need to launch all these different Spider characters and do their own thing because we want to keep this brand alive and profitable for us. You can do that, but there's no reason it has to be bad. There's no reason you can do that and not have it be an awesome movie. And they did it.
Yeah. That's what's got me kind of worried for, like, because they'll see, like, obviously the popularity of this, and we know how Sony can get, where they're like, and I think they're kind of already doing that. We're like, we're gonna greenlight a Spider-Gwen movie, like,
it's already greenlit,
yeah, and then that's gonna lead into that. They remember back when the leaks happened, there was like an all Spider-Girl movie called Glass Ceiling or some bullshit.
Project Glass Ceiling, which apparently has been Amy Pascal's like passion project forever. Apparently she's been trying to make that since like she took The Office in the first place, where I'm like, hey, if you can get a team on it that's as good as the team on this one and it looks as good and it's about stuff, fucking go for it. Especially because, again, they do a great job giving Spider-Gwen's story and why she's cool and why you should care about her.
Yeah, but see, that's my problem. I think they'll see, like, oh, it's so popular, and they'll just, like, keep greenlighting all, like, kind of like what DC have been doing. Like, fucking Zatanna, Plastic Man, and just, like, kind of get ahead of themselves a little bit without really sort of saying, what made this movie good? What was good about this?
Where's my Spider-Punk? Joel wants Spider-Punk. Give him Spider-Punk.
Well, do you want to talk about the post-credit scene?
Oh, there was a post-credit scene? I didn't know there was a post-credit.
I'm not going to tell you about it now.
Oh, well, now you gotta tell. I'm just going to Google it when I leave. Tell me all about it.
$20.99.
Ah, of course. Which, honestly, if they couldn't make regular Spider-Man movies, they really should have been doing $20.99 anyway, and I think $20.99 would actually make for a pretty good animated movie.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool.
Because, I would say $20.99 is probably the most popular, well-known Spider-Man who's not Peter Parker.
Yeah, and the best thing is they do it in that meme where Spider-Man's pointing at the other Spider-Man.
I've seen people retweeting that. I'm like, why are people retweeting this? I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, because Miguel, he travels to that episode of that Spider-Man.
The 60s show.
That show, and like instead of that Spider-Man being the impersonator, it's like $20.99 Spider-Man.
So again, another reason why this movie is great, it pays homage to every era in Spider-Man.
Yeah, it does. Does it ever?
So that means if we get a sequel, we need to see Spider-Punk, and I know we're gonna see a sequel. We need to see Spider-Punk. We need to see the Tokusetsai Japanese Spider-Man with a Megazord.
Yes, we need Spiders Man.
Oh yeah, the guy who's just a bunch of sentient spiders in a Spider-Man costume.
He can be the villain because he's kind of a villain in Spider-Geddon.
Right. We need Lady Fry, or what is it? Lady Spider Woman, the one who's like the steampunk Spider Woman with the big spider arms and everything, who's got like an old Victorian dress. I like her. We need her.
Spider's ma'am, who's Aunt May as Spider-Man, but she's like dressed in like a maid's costume that's like the Spider-Man colors.
That's right. I remember that. Didn't they tell the actress who plays Aunt May? Yeah, there's Spider's ma'am. That's a thing. And didn't she like love that idea? I think there's an interview out there where some interviewer tells her that that's a character, and she's like, "That's awesome. Can we do that next?"
Yeah. That's going to be the second film. She's going to be the leader of the Project Glass House.
I'm all about. I'm all about that. No, I like Project Glass House. I like that too. That sounds like a super secret project, Glass House. Don't throw stones around the Glass House, though. But yeah, I mean, really, what else can you say? I mean, I liked Into the Spider-Verse so much, and I don't say this very much with movies. When it was done, I instantly wanted to watch it again.
Yeah, because it's one of those movies where you're gonna get multiple viewings of it because there's like so much like on screen. You're like, oh, that's a cool reference, and that like so much you didn't pick up in your first viewing. I definitely want to see it again.
It's like an Edgar Wright film where it's like, I bet there's stuff here I didn't even know about.
There's actually a really cool Edgar Wright I wouldn't say cameo, but like a reference where like one of the posters in Times Square is like a Shaun of the Dead poster, but it's like, was it From Shaun Till Dawn or something? It's like a From Dusk Till Dawn sort of remix.
Right. Again, alternate universe, so the movies are alternate too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just so much to like about this movie, so much to recommend about it. It's like, hey, you might have felt like you had to skip this one because it was animated and it wasn't connected to any of the big ongoing meta stories of all these superhero movies. Don't care. See it anyway. See it and take your kids to see it because your kids are going to fucking love it too.
Take your kids to see it, but tell your kids to be quiet.
Oh, yeah, you had a really bad experience. Do tell, Matt.
It's school holidays, obviously, because it's Christmas time, but like, because and the cinema's filled with kids, but like, just tell them to, be quiet, no screaming or, talking during quiet scenes or anything, be a bit respectful.
It's a public place. It's shocking the amount of parents who do not instill the proper shame in their children to be like, hey, social norms apply, you little shit.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, get the extension cord out.
I think some parents really do just view the the movie theater as a babysitter. It's like, well, they talk and act like shit at home, so what's the difference here? Well, I'm here. That's the difference.
I paid to be here.
Yeah, I need to see this. This is work. I'm writing this off. Can't you see my little notepad? I'm taking notes. I don't actually do that. I've thought about doing it, but I'm like, nah, I don't need to take notes.
No.
If I ever went to a press screening, like a professional press screening, and other people around me were taking notes, I'd be like, oh, I guess I'll just write on this cocktail napkin then. I'm important. I'm supposed to be here. I actually got really jealous because some of the other people I work with there actually got to see it in like an early engagement that was just like advertised in the paper.
Okay.
I'm like, you motherfuckers. And then obviously Benny, who I work with, who's the comic store, and he just got flown out to see Aquaman before I came, and I'm like, God damn it, I guess Joel will just go down to the cinema and wait in line and like everyone else. It's my own damn fault. I don't live in a big city. I live in the sticks. So even if I got invited to a premiere, I'd have to be like, okay, well, I guess I need a hotel then, or I really need to make plans to go and come back because it's a big long commute just to see a movie. But yeah, Spider-Verse is great. I mean, really, what else can we say about it? This gets thrown around a lot, but it's a triumph. It's like really a triumph of what it was trying to do.
It really was. It was an achievement in every aspect.
Yeah. And there were so many ways it could have gone wrong.
Oh,
there were so many. so many ways for it to suck, but it didn't. And I hope it does really well, even though I think it has a couple things working against it.
Oh, time it released and everything, and yeah. And a lot of people I've talked to didn't actually realize there was another Spider-Man movie coming out, so their marketing hasn't been great.
No, it really hasn't. Coming out in the dead of winter the way it is, next to Aquaman, which is getting a big push. Like, heck, even next to fucking Once Upon a Deadpool, that, cheat lie of a movie.
Yeah, which I hope people don't go see.
I really hope they don't either. Is the box office in on that? Did that open this week? I want to say that opened this week.
I think I saw something where, like, in its previews, it made like 900 grand or something. So, like, under $1 million. So, good.
That's what you deserve to get. You released the same movie, you greedy bastards.
Yeah, well, not even the same movie. They like cut out probably all the good shit.
Oh, so you released a greatly inferior version.
Yeah, but it's got Fred Savage in it, so
And I like Fred Savage, but when was the last time he was a box office draw?
And never.
Probably during Princess Bride, which is what they're aping off of.
Yeah.
No, you know what you should see instead of Once Upon a Deadpool? You should go see the Deadpool XXX parody from friend of the show Axel Braun. I paid my money because I like to I like to patronize my friend's work. No, but seriously though,
patronizing all over that work, aren't you?
All over that work because I care about the small businessman. Do you care enough? Actually, legitimately though, Deadpool XXX is fucking hilarious. Actually, because the joke is that it's the real Deadpool from the Deadpool movies who is super excited to be in his own porn parody.
That's actually pretty funny.
It is, but he keeps getting cock blocked, and like Axel Braun himself is in the movie. He's a character.
That's great.
It's like, Axel, you promised me a scene today. Geez, wait, I'm sorry you're late. And like they have a great joke too where like one of the actresses comes out and she's the Domino from the movie. She's got like the vitiligo and everything.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like, "Oh, vitiligo, that's cool. I like that." Yeah, but a lot of fans on the internet are going to be angry though, aren't they? So they bring out another actress who like is basically cosplaying Domino from the comics. And so it's like, best of both worlds. Let's fuck. But then Wade doesn't get to though because something's blocking. It's like, what's that blocking me? It's the fifth wall.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
It is. It's really goddamn funny. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Axel Braun does great costumes, does great comedy, is genuinely funny. Holy shit. So make that the stocking stuffer this season, for the parents, for the kids. Just put Deadpool XXX in there.
It's the right one.
It's the right. Seriously, if there was ever a time when it's like, no, you should just like cut out all the hardcore sex stuff and make like a clean version and put that up online, you should do it for that.
Yeah, just to ape off the actual movie doing that.
You really should, and even sell it like, hey, don't go see that rehashed crap that is Once Upon a Deadpool. Watch my genuinely funny porn parody.
You know what's even funnier? They could probably even get Ryan Reynolds to actually voice Wade in that, like overdub the actual like porn actor's voice.
The dude they got is doing a pitch perfect Ryan Reynolds impression.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
wow.
not the same guy, but he is doing a pitch perfect impression.
Oh, wow.
The suit also looks exactly like the movie, and he's got the movements down. He's got everything down. It's shocking how accurate they went in on this.
You see, what they didn't say was that it is actually Ryan Reynolds.
That's the secret. It's actually Ryan Reynolds. Man, I kept saying all this year, and I know I said this because I listened back to our Best of special, which will be airing next week. I talked a lot about trying to get Axel Braun on the show. I have his email. He never wrote me back. This was around like New York Comic Con a couple years back now. I should really try and get him again because if he's probably promoting Once Upon a Deadpool XXX, would be a good time to get him in.
That would be.
Hey, come on our comic podcast and talk about your comic themed porn films. No one else in this genre of geek news is talking to him. I'll talk to him. I'll take that bullet. Seems like a cool dude. Seems genuinely funny. He does the box art and the design for his own website and everything. You might give me some pointers on how to make the channel more appealing to more people. Put some boobs on it. Okay. Numbers just shoot right the fuck up. You were right. I know.
We're rich.
Holy shit. Axel, you are my Jedi master. You unlocked a whole world that I did not think possible just by putting boobs in the thumbnail. Actually, I don't know if YouTube cracks down on that anymore. I know there was a point on YouTube where everyone was doing that.
I think they do.
They probably do now.
Our demographic is probably mostly children, so yeah, they'll crack down on that.
I think last time I checked, they skew like 18 to 35. I could be wrong though.
Well, YouTube's fucked, so they probably think that they're babies, they're children, but it's a 35-year-old man. It's a child.
By today's standards, who will look after the sweet baby children, ages male 18 to 35? We YouTube will. But be sure to, subscribe to PewDiePie and click every link he gives you. Even if it's Nazi.
You can't say that because that immediately, you mentioned PewDiePie, that immediately makes us alt-right.
I know, apparently. Right? Right. Did you see on his last stream he just wore a KKK costume? In a moment of gaming anger, he went and put on a KKK costume. And we have to forgive him for that. Because it was a moment of gaming anger. Like that guy who beat up his wife, who I think was from Australia.
He was. We covered it on the news.
That made national. Holy shit. Actually, something similar happened in Canada. Actually, a professional StarCraft player who beat up his wife on stream in a moment of gaming anger. It's very clinical, Matt. Moment of gaming anger. I mean, come on, man. It's like you're playing Red Dead. You get tied to someone else's horse. Anyone would do it. So fucking stupid. But I mean, yeah, is that the show for this week, Matt? Is that everything? Have we covered it all? Have we said what needs to be said?
I think so, yeah.
All right, I guess we'll sign off there, and I guess this is the last time, too, for you at least, Matt. I'm going to record a little something and connect it to the best of show. But, yeah, if you had any holiday wishes for anyone, now would be the time to get it out, and any holiday plugs.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining us for this year in the Comic Multiverse. I'm sure next year will be even bigger. Thank you everyone for joining me on my channel as well as I power through all my reviews in the little free time I have now.
There's so much that came out this week. They're really bearing the lead and trying to drown us. I'm imagining because Christmas falls on a Tuesday, that Wednesday is gonna be dead, I imagine.
Hopefully. I want a day off, please.
I know. Well, we'll have our first and maybe only day off of the year coming this week because thankfully we have something pre-recorded, and even then I'm not going to stop because I got other shows I got to do stuff on.
Yep.
But yeah, as always too, thank you for this year for following us on iTunes. I know people have been asking us for that pretty much since the inception of the show, and I was too goddamn lazy to do it. Thank you for not letting that go and kicking me in the ass. Numbers and viewership are actually up consistently since I made the move to iTunes. So, hey, thank you for knowing better than me on that one. I appreciate it. Again, you can find the show on SoundCloud usually the day after, and iTunes. You can download it, carry it around with you. Good downloads are always nice for me when I'm trying to, entice sponsors to give us things. Hasn't worked yet, but one day it will. And that's what I'm fighting for. Of course, too, with the holidays coming up and Christmas and gift-giving season, if you are a comic fan looking for a little gift for yourself, or if you're buying something for someone who likes comics, be sure to use our book depository link down in the description. Not only do you get a great deal on comics and not have to pay a cent for shipping, but everything you buy goes to help and support Matt and myself. So that is always highly appreciated. If you are a patron, again, you will get to listen to this show first before anyone else for as little as $1 a month. Again, big ups to you. Big Merry Christmases, Happy Holidays to you, because really you make every month Christmas, when you give us that little bit of extra cheese, that cheddar to keep us going so I can pay Matt and pay to keep the internet on and the lights on and everything. That's much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also Amazon links down there too. If you use something there, I also get some money, so that's always appreciated as well.
Awesome.
I don't actually know how much money is. I just know people do it, so I do it. I think it's like something stupid. It's like 3%, and they only pay out when you reach $100. But
Yeah.
hey, every income stream is important. So that's never say you didn't learn anything watching this show.
No.
All right. So on that note, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. We will see you again in the new year with new content. And I mean, it's not like I'm not also going to be putting up videos as well.
Yeah.
It's just the last time you're going to see us on podcast for a bit. And I mean, you can still reach me on Twitter. I'll still talk to you and shit, and on Facebook and everywhere else. I'm making it sound like we're like taking Christmas. We're really not, though. As YouTubers,
we're stopping
really
one show.
No, yeah. Again, being a YouTuber, you really can't take any goddamn time off. And again, it's only going to be for like a week.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, everyone. And we will be back again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.